Hello everyone, I am Suryansh Singh from the EC department.
I am Surya Sharikar from Mechanical Department.
I am Srishti Kujul from Mechanical Department. I am Shubhrita Gaura from Mechanical Department.
I am Kumar Patel from ECE Department.
And we are Team VASUDEV and our project is titled Different Ways to Make a Conversation with Anyone.
In this video, we will share different techniques to start and sustain a conversation in different situations.
We would like to sincerely thank our mentor Dr. Anoop Kumar Tiwari Sir for his guidance and encouragement throughout this video.
So, hello everybody. I'm going to start with a question. How many of you know the person sitting next to you from before today? So, do you remember the first conversation you had with that person? Conversations are links. Let's imagine every conversation to be a tiny metal link, and every time you talk to a stranger, a metal link is formed. And every conversation that you have after that moment, the link gets stronger and stronger. And every day, each one of us meets so many strangers, the grocery guy, the cab guy, maybe the receptionist in the new office you went to. And with every conversation, we build new links. Until finally at the end, we have created a kind of massive world wide web of conversation. World Wide Web. It's a catchy word, I think I have heard it somewhere. That's it, right? A conversation, it's a fascinating thing. A conversation is an adventure. A conversation gives you a whole new perception. A conversation opens you a door. A conversation can make a war, and a conversation can make peace. And conversations define who we are as a human race. And think about this. Every single person in your life was once a stranger to you, and you knew nothing about them until you had that first conversation. So, I'm here to tell you how to talk to a stranger and make a conversation with anyone. I am a radio presenter and I love to talk to people. I love it, and I'm so glad that I do it for my living. Here's what my day looks like. Every single morning I go to an empty room and I put on a mic and I have a conversation with 1.6 million people, and that whom I can't see. Yeah. You know what the hardest part is though? It's time. In a 4-hour show, I get 20 minutes. That's all the talk there is. And in 20 minutes, I have to convince you that I am your best friend. How do I do this? How do I establish a connection? I have 20 minutes to inform you, to excite you, to engage you, but most importantly, 20 out of the 20 times I switch on that mic, I have to leave a smile on your face. Except I can't see you, I know nothing about you, and have no way of getting your reaction. How do you do it? How do you talk to a stranger? Well, my 9 years in radio have taught me these simple little tricks. Strangers, they are everywhere. And we have always been told, don't talk to stranger. But I beg to differ. Every stranger comes with an opportunity to learn something new, an opportunity to have an experience you never had, or hear a story you have never heard before. And you have that moment, right? You are in a room with someone you don't know, and you look across the room, you see a stranger, and you think, I want to talk to that person. And you can almost hear the first word, but it won't just come out. It just stuck about here. It goes up and down, but you don't know. You know what? Here's my advice. Just say it. What's the worst that can happen? They won't talk to you. Well, they are not talking to you now. The first word, floodgates. I truly believe that the first word acts as a floodgate. Once you say the first word, everything just goes in a flow. So keep it simple. A hi, a hey, a hello. And do what every good bowler does. Just gather the enthusiasm, the positivity, the energy, put on a big smile and say, "Hi." I know there's going to be a strange moment right now. Turn to someone sitting next to you and stick your hand out and say, "Hello." Go on. I love the awkward laughter. Why is he making us do this? So this is all about the first word, floodgates.
You know, here's a challenge we face every day. Time. We have only 90 seconds on radio and we have to make that conversation with a stranger memorable. So how do you do it? What's the biggest challenge? Honestly, if you get stuck in the rut of, "Hi, hey, how are you? I'm fine. What's going on? Nothing much. Same old. So what's new?" And there you go, 45 seconds down, wasted, right? So here's my advice. Skip the small talk and ask a really personal question. And don't be afraid, trust me. You will be surprised how much people are willing to share if you just ask. So ask any kind of personal question, maybe interesting name. How did your parents think of it? Is there a story behind it? Or how long have you lived in the city? And do you remember the first day you landed here? Answers to those questions are really something unique. Always something personal. My favorite one to try is, where do you come from and where does your family live? Unfailingly, every single time I sit in a cab, I do this. I ask that question, where do you come from and where does your family live? Let me tell you a little story. I was coming home one night and I get into this taxi, open the door, sit down and I say, "Where are you from? Where does your family live?" And the 60 years old Pakistani cab driver goes on to tell me all about his life in Peshawar. We talked about politics, we talked about music, family, wife, his farm. And 20 minutes later, he is convinced that I am the perfect bride for his 26 years old college educated son from Peshawar. And as I'm getting out of this taxi, he is taking out a passport size photograph with this look of enthusiasm. I have to say it was a very difficult goodbye. But the moral of the story really is, what starts with a hello can end up with a marriage proposal. And that's a warning. Step 3. Find the me toos. Have you ever met someone who starts a conversation like they're starting a debate? I'm from Delhi. I hate Delhi. Yeah, nothing kills a conversation like a negative. So when you meet someone for the first time, make an effort to find the one thing that you and the other person might have in common. When you start at the point and then move outward from there, you will find that all of a sudden the conversation becomes a lot easier. And that's because both of you suddenly are on the same side of something. And that's a really powerful feeling. Now, what could you possibly have in common with a stranger, you ask? Could be anything, right? You're both in the same place at the same time. Maybe you are from the same country. Maybe you both like the winter, or you're longing for it to rain, or I don't know. You'd find something. When you find a me too, you automatically have a kind of buy-in from the other person. Trust me, that's helpful. Pay your unique compliment. I read somewhere that people will forget what you do and they'll forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So be generous and go out and give someone a nice full compliment. So I have this belief about a compliment immunity meter, and it comes from this experience I had when I met this gorgeous supermodel. And I look at her and I say, "Wow, you're so beautiful." And there's no reaction on her face. And I think to myself, how? And that's when I realized she's immune to the word beautiful. She's probably heard it 100,000 times today. And if she's on social media, she's heard 1,000,000 times today. And there are some words that each of us has developed an immunity to. It could be nice, it could be awesome, it could be cool. Stay away from this. and try and construct a compliment that's unique and genuine. And you don't have to lie. Really. When you look at someone and say, I love how you smile, it's like your nose smiles and then your eyes smile and your ears smile and your forehead smiles. And suddenly the whole person is just smiling. You see? I hope that's a compliment you are not going to forget for a while. Pay a unique and genuine compliment. Ask for an opinion. All of us have opinions, trust me, and we all want them to be heard. And everybody wants validation. So go on and ask for an opinion. And that's when you open up a two-way street. That is when the real communication begins. And you will be surprised how much you can pick up about a person just by asking their opinion and something pretty generic.
Here's a mistake that some people make. They ask your opinion about something really difficult. It feels almost intimidating. Somewhere in a room full of very well-informed people, and someone was to come up to me and say, so what do you think about the way the oil prices have affected the real estate market in Dubai? I feel a bit cornered. I feel like I might fail. And this is an examination, and that's the lesson. Nobody needs to fail at a first-time conversation. Just ask something simple. Keep it generic. How do you like your coffee? When did you watch your last movie? And what did you think of it? And when somebody gives you their opinion, really listen. Don't listen to reply. Listen to listen. There's a difference. And that brings me to my next point. Be present. I know you have been through this. I know I have. Imagine you're pouring your heart out to someone and they're like this. Yeah, go on, keep talking. I can multitask. What's with the Wi-Fi? You know, when someone's trying to communicate with you, the least you can do is really be in that conversation. Just be wholeheartedly present. Just be there. And oh, my favorite part, make an eye contact. Trust me, eye contact is where all the magic happens. You can feel the conversation. And trust me, when you're looking at someone in the eye, 9 out of 10 times, they will not dare look away. Right? Now, if only I could look into the eyes of 1.6 million people, I would not have to worry about you guys queuing up during the ad breaks. And, oh, my favorite part, make an eye contact. Trust me, eye contact is where all the magic happens. You can feel the conversation. And trust me, when you're looking at someone in the eye, 9 out of 10 times, they will not dare look away. Right? Now, if only it was possible for me to look into the eyes of 1.6 million people, I would not have to worry about you guys queuing out during the ad breaks. That brings me to this, my favorite point, because I think it's got a catchy name. Name, place, animal, thing. You remember that game? Remember the little details about a person. Remember their name. It's so important. It's awful when you meet someone for 18th time and you say, you must be Paul. No, Peter. Something with the P and it ends with, it's terrible. Remember someone's name and say it back to them. You have no idea how important you're making them feel. And that's not the only detail. Remember all the other details as well. The places they like to go to, the places they have been to, the places they want to go, and their pets' name. How their pets been feeling lately, the things they like. Remember their children's name. That's such a winner. Remember their wife's name, their girlfriend's name. Just don't mix up the last two because that could be disastrous. Remember these little things about people and repeat it back to them. Ask, be genuinely interested, and automatically you kind of become an investor in their well-being. So they'll feel responsible to you to keep that conversation going. There we go. 7 amazing ways that you can make conversation with anyone, and 7 reasons why you should use the break. That's going to come up to talk to a stranger that you don't know. I'm going to end with this analogy. A conversation is like reading a book. You can turn to any page you want. You can flip to your favorite chapter. You can read as long as you want and you can read what you want. And every person, trust me, is really a good book. And this saddens me so much that entire human lives are being boiled down to 140 characters and catchy headlines because that's not what we are. We are not abridged versions. We are entire human stories. We deserve more from each other. So what are you going to do in this big world we call the library? Are you going to walk around, look at the hardbound copies and read the titles? Or you going to actually reach for a book, open a page and start reading a story? You decide. Thank you.
Use pauses effectively. Pauses can be a useful tool to make your conversations feel more thoughtful and less rushed. Instead of immediately jumping in to fill silence, allow for a brief pause between thoughts. This not only gives you and the other person time to reflect, but can also lead to more meaningful responses. Why it works. Silence in conversation can be a powerful space for reflection. Pauses help create a thoughtful dialogue rather than a back and forth exchange of words. Next point we have, discuss personal challenges and growth. A great way to deepen a conversation is by opening up about personal challenges you have faced or you are currently dealing with, as well as the lessons that you've learned from them. This invites the other person to do the same, creating a deeper level of understanding and trust between both the parties. Why it works. Being vulnerable shows authenticity, which builds trust and connection. People are often more willing to open up when they feel the conversation is genuine and heartfelt. Mirror their energy and tone. People naturally feel more connected to those who share their energy levels. If the person is excited or animated, respond with similar enthusiasm. If they are more laid back and calm, adapt your tone to match. This creates a sense of rapport and makes the conversation feel more in sync. Why it works? Mirroring someone's tone and energy makes them feel understood and accepted. It's a subtle way of building trust and making the conversation flow nicely. Next point is share interesting facts or stories. Sometimes people enjoy learning new things. Sharing an interesting fact or story that is related to the conversation can pique their curiosity. Whether it's an anecdote from your life or something you recently read. This adds a new dynamic to the dialogue. Again, why it works. Engaging storytelling captivates people's attention and gives them something to remember you by. It also opens door for them and to share their own feelings, stories and insights. As we come to the end of this introspection, I would want to express my sincere gratitude to our mentor, Dr. Anoop Kumar Tiwari Sir, for guiding us through this project. And I would like to thank our HOD of Social Science Department, Dr. Sameer Bajpai Sir. And I would like to thank my friends who have supported and helped us throughout this video.
Use body language to communicate interest. Communication is not just about words, it's also about body language. Maintaining eye contact, smiling and using open inviting gesture can make you seem more approachable and interested in what the other person is saying. Lean slightly forward to show engagement and avoid close-off postures like crossing your arms. Why it works? Non-verbal cues are just as important as verbal communication. Positive body language shows that you are genuinely interested in other person, making them feel more comfortable and valued. Another important point for having a easy conversation with anyone is to ask open-ended what-if questions. In addition to asking regular questions, throw in the same fun or throughout provoking what-if questions. For example, what if you could live anywhere in the world? Another important point is to talk about current events or trends. Bringing up current events, pop cultures or recent trends is a great way to start or maintain a conversation. Whether it's something related to sports, entertainment or technology, discussing something topical can engage the other person and allow them to share their opinion or insight. Why it works? Discussing current events provide common ground and gives people something relevant and timely to talk about, especially when you are unsure of their personal interest. Discuss shared goals or aspirations. Everyone has goals and dreams they are working toward. Asking someone about their future ambitions or what they are currently passionate about can lead to deep and inspiring conversation. It shows that you care about their growth and are interested in what motivates them. Why it works? Talking about aspirations bring out a positive energy, helping both parties connect or on a more personal and motivational level. It also invites deeper conversation beyond surface level topics. Ask for an opinion. People like to share their thoughts, and by asking for an opinion, you are giving them an opportunity to express themselves. Questions like, what do you think about? Or how do you feel about? Invite the other person to engage without feeling pressured. For example, if you are talking about a new movie, asking, what did you think of that film? Opens up the discussion and shows interest in their perspective. Another important point for having easy conversation is to offer help. Offering help makes you come across as generous and supportive, which are active qualities in any conversation. Offering help is also a way to have an easy conversation with anyone. Offering help makes you come across as generous and supportive, which are attractive qualities in any conversation. Sometimes people might not even realize that they need help, so offering it can be a great way to drive the conversation forward. You might say, if you need any help with that, I would be happy to help you. This can create a connection and often the other person will reciprocate with something they can assist you with in return. For advice. Asking for advice not only gives the other person a chance to share their knowledge, but it also shows that you value their expertise. It can be a good way to bond over shared experience or get insight you may not have considered. For instance, I am planning a trip to Japan and I am curious if you have any recommendations, or I have been struggling with a work project. Do you have any tips? People enjoy feeling value and appreciation for their expertise, and asking for advice can be a good way to deepen the conversation.